the general dedications. Sorry, general motivation. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the virtuous merit created by listening to the Dharma, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the virtuous merit created by listening to the Dharma, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the virtuous merit created by listening to the Dharma, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from the bliss that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and aversion. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and make oceans of offerings both real and visualized. May I purify my negative karmic seeds from the beginning of time, and rejoice in the virtues of all ordinary and extraordinary beings. May the enlightened ones remain until samsara ceases and turn the wheel of Dharma for us. May the virtues accumulated by all beings be dedicated towards attaining Buddhahood. Om Vajra Bhumya Om. The foundation is the pure golden earth. Om Vajra Lekeva Om. The universe is encircled by a great iron fence, and in the center is not a king of mountains. To the east is Lodrö, to the south is Jamphel, to the north is Dzokden, and to the west is Khentrul. The sun, moon, Rahu, and Kalachakra, all things pleasing and prosperous within the world of humans and gods, complete and lacking nothing. All this love I offer with great devotion to my immaculate root and lineage lines, and the mandala of Yidams, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, Primordial, Chakras, Akinis, and all seeing Dharma protectors. Out of compassion, accept this mandala for the sake of all beings, and having accepted this offering, please bless me. Guru Edam Ratna Mandala Kramriadayami. We sincerely request from the Glorious One, the kind and compassionate One, the teaching of common and uncommon vehicles suitable for all beings. May we comprehend the Dharma in our minds and develop all Dharma qualities.
Yerkin Chözin Kamsame Chuji Jero, Sijinanya Jitana, Kadana Sanji, Lita Malu, Roi, Tanjini, Lume Dokura Hudu Ganaja, Jipan Rosa, Jorana, Tanji, Kambala, Dandia, Jani, Hidajado, Under the Daniel. Bi chun tong bi godam de la chang sa jara song za ji ri ton ma lu bar jai chapang i ton ta tu kor lo ta mi he de sha nya or tong ki Gyatso shan da dan sa sam pa kwa to me ja la ji ta mi ngur tan tong la ben jong za no je shin ri ki ton ki ba chanting Jamphel, Baba, Lodrö, Lasso, Ngawang, Rimé, Sichnyanji, Rimé, Damjaya, Tribi, Okere, Jonang-Shambhala, Lodrö, Antafon, Khentrul, Ando, Harachin, Rola, Dzokden, Nibi, Pansov Serziren Jinki, Barik Dan Sampi, Lushina Data, Danya, Kandi, Aninda, Mayo Sandana Doji, Nanju, Ji, Alonso khi tao chứ ngon đời giờ là thì là do sang ngon lo giữ cho tu cho bao nó lo so lo đi ông mình chú gì à gì bảo trong nó tu sanh sang gì cái gì ngô nhớ họ sẽ chưa cần ngon đời tôn đời bị trái lo nó lo so trao sang từng ngày trên đời chết đi trên nhau số mẹ ông nhớ Don la nhất đam chế na đam na nung thơ sa đơ so ca yu sen cho ra la ni mandara don la ji no jena don ga no ri o ji mamba sen sa o ni bi lo na ma ga ji gra la khor ji ro ja ri kwan mi thong na ma ga Tida tamsha tarva damir gurjara tabi honyana shandan darashaki Andasha jatonga jikde nadasha hamna jarva akan sado dandara kami shudichan Nyambarando ba tamsha darashaki Nawaya tari lai kadang ladano janaka dharamada damai Rua kanji darka jaza mara tamshe kata da ka chuna tujar ji. So good morning everyone. Okay, when we study Dharma and practice Dharma, you just always have to remember what basis we doing. You know, what we doing, what basis. So that's called grant, and then what kind of path we taken, you know. Is if we taken part of samsara path or samsaric svava, are you doing for samsaric svava or you doing for samsaric better rebirth for next life, or just for svava this life, or you seeking liberation from samsara, or you want to liberate all samsara, all sentient beings. So which path you taking, and which one you decided, you just aware of this always, and then you have to motivate that way. And third, we say result, then always you have to remember each path what the ultimate result, you know. So if you are seeking for survival in this life, then what is the best life could be? What is the best life, the end of your life? What could be? Is very useful, is very meaningful, could be or not so much meaningful, you know. So whatever pursuing, you know, what really, you just have to know the destiny. You know, the destiny is you aiming for something in this life or next life, rebirth, better rebirth than samsara, or same rebirth you want, or you want free from samsara. So when we say samsara, meaning is uncontrolling dominated by karma, always train around inside, never out, that kind of, But in this rind, there is some degrees, more suffering and less suffering. So which one you aim for? That we have to aware all the time. So, yeah, whenever you study Dharma, whenever you listen, whenever you read it, if you can comprehend this, the grand path result. So the grand means the ultimate truth, really. The grand means what truth, what kind of truth you believe in, what that kind of base you try to work in. So if it's samsara basis, and then is a temporary base. So you try to do a basis on Buddha nature, and then is ultimate truth. Then the path, you're working on this life or next life. You want something better life than this life. Or you want completely free and you want to break this cycle, basically, free from this cycle. So that is the path you choose it. And the result, if it's a survival, then it's easy. Next life you want to be man or woman, or you want to be animal, which animal, definitely you don't want to go to hell, and nobody aiming for hell or hungry ghost or anything. But some people do animals, right? So so you just have to aware which one you choose it, really. And then, or you really want free from samsara, or you not really want free samsara. Even you say this, but you have some kind of attachment in a samsara, or not, So if you have some attachment, still if you have some attachment in a samsara, probably better to take bodhisattva path. Okay? So why? Because bodhisattva doesn't have to 100% limited attachment, desire. You just have to, this attachment is you can make a name, different name called connection all with all sentient beings. And this desire you call inspiration. Inspiration liberate all sentient beings. So this desire, this good type of desire and good type of the attachment, this is important. So that's why I think Buddhist text stated something basically where the Buddha's village, I don't know what you call it, Sanskrit. In Tibet we call Seshki Dongcher. So this town. Usually we say this West, or the West is considered very dirty and useless, but when you are farming, and especially ancient time, this is absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. So similarly, the bodhisattvas, the desire and attachment is necessary to connect in all sentient beings. So they say like that, okay? So, yeah, I think it's a very good question. You really want free from samsara or not? You think carefully, do you have any attachment with all samsaric good things? The bad things, of course, nobody have attachment. So the good things, such as recognition, status, high social status, and good reputation, and wealth of course, wealth. Usually we say the wealth is 3 types of wealth. The best wealth is wisdom wealth. The second wealth is healthy body wealth. And then the last wealth is materialism wealth. But this all wealth, 3 types of wealth is, of course, people want, people like. So all these wealths, do you have attachment? Attachment is very subtle, very subtle. Attachment is, how do you call? The anger and the hatred and these things, dramatic, is obvious and how do you say? Visible and powerful in bad ways. But the attachment is silent way, and silent way very powerful. Not very visible, as not always obvious as anger and so, but more pervasive. So that's why maybe difficult to recognize. So. And also this attachment and desire, we need it sometimes. We need it as a different forms. So that's why it's important to recognize. So what I'm saying is basically the result, you want to choose bodhisattva path. If yes, then because bodhisattva path is something forever, so you can have great attachment. You can have great inspiration, because something forever in good way. So I think the aiming for nirvana only is, I think, the difficult because some kind of you aiming for something, the end, you know, no continue. So I'll try to be aware of that. Okay, so, and then, you know, this grand path result, you have to always aware which one I'm connecting, really. Which one am I connecting? Which means I study, practice Dharma, but do I have really big purpose? Or you just use as your life? You know, some people do only for hobby. Some people only do for entertainment. Some people only do replacement for something. So, am I doing those things, or am I doing more serious than this? I think this is very important to know. And then another three things you always have to connect with. As I said yesterday, the view and the practicing, usually they call meditating, but it is same. You know, you say practicing and meditation is really same. You can understand same way, because meditation means familiarization. So practicing means also you try to familiarize it. Practice means you familiarize it. So this practice and then your conduct. So your conduct is something, some kind of evidence. Your practice is gone well or not. Is some kind of sign. Sign shows in your conduct. So that's why your Dharma practice is doing well or not. You don't need question somebody. Do I'm doing well Dharma practice? And you don't need any secondary evidence or anything whatsoever. You don't need even a science, you know, like oh, I have this, you know, Buddha show me some science, or I saw Buddha, bodhisattvas, I saw it with my eyes directly. You don't need those things. I mean, you, that happened to you. Okay, good for you, but maybe good for you. You know, that's still maybe. Who knows? But more is my conduct, my behavior. Is any changes? That is the real sign. So if your behavior and your thoughts, attitude, everything, even a little effect, that is the real sign of your practice gone well. So that's why it doesn't matter. Today we're talking about a view, you know, we're talking about Madhyamika view yesterday and today. But why I'm telling you these things, because if you're not connecting with these things, and then becomes not very useful. That's why I'm saying, somebody say, I'm philosopher, but not practitioner. I am scientist, but I agree with your view. I agree with the Buddhist view, but I'm not practitioner. So that's just one type of, so you want a practitioner or not, it's up to you, but you have to distinguish. You want to do that? Oh, what happened?
Don't know. I check.
Battery again?
No? I don't know. Yeah, battery over here.
Huh?
Yeah, battery on the other one.
Battery, okay. So, so everything is like that. So everything is, whatever you do, basically in life, everybody busy, right? Everybody think they are so busy. And why busy? Do you know why busy? Anybody can tell me why everybody busy? Huh?
Because they're lazy.
Yes, one form of the laziness is called active laziness. Active laziness. Because laziness means wasting time, basically. So wasting time, you can be active and wasting time, or no active wasting time. You don't have to be always non-active laziness.
I think one of the reasons why I always keep busy is because if I don't keep busy, I get bored.
Yes, exactly. One is the reason too. But why become like that? Is there big reason behind?
You don't have the right view.
Okay. You? What do you want to say?
I think you don't have the right motivation.
Okay. You say you have no right motivation. You say you have no right view. All, yes, but.
It does.
Yeah. Yes, but not the perfect answer. It is answer, but it's not perfect answer. Okay? Yeah.
Because you're not willing to take a deep look at the preciousness of this life and what follows.
Okay. Yes. 95%. Good answer. Okay. So, yeah.
Because they have decided.
Decided. Yeah, of course, decided.
Desire.
Desire. Oh yeah, yes. All answers yes, but not the 100%. Not the 100% hit the nail on the head. That answer. Okay.
Perhaps some people are frightened to look within, and they're more concerned with the external rather than the internal.
Okay. Okay. Why fighting? Why fighting looking in?
Oh, because you sometimes can't believe that you have this opportunity perhaps to actually transcend this samsaric realm, and you need to gather your strength to make that extra move into that dimension. That extraordinary
Okay.
bonus.
Okay.
I think a lot of people just don't have the clarity, or they lack the awareness to ask the right questions.
Okay.
I think people try to pursue happiness
Yes.
and thinking, keep like changing all the time, non-stop, like the greed, the ignorance, something. So if you can get to the stillness, then the You can set the limit to what should be busy and what should stay out. But most of the time, people try to be better and
Okay. Okay.
People are denying death.
Huh?
People are denying death.
Denying get.
Death.
Death.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
People might have too much attachments.
Okay.
We're copying everybody else.
Yeah. Yes, that's also a good one. Yes, we copy everybody. We don't think about is necessary. So what I'm trying to say, why we busy? Why everybody busy? The answer, you can have millions of answers. You can give million answers. I'm busy because of that. It's all correct, in some ways. All your answers is correct, But why we busy? Because we don't know what is necessary and what is necessary pursuing and what is unnecessary pursuing. We don't know. That's why we copy. Yes. Why we copy it? Because majority of people think you can't think properly. You just, everybody do this, so I have to do this. And nobody have intelligent enough to break the normal way of thinking. So who did that? Buddha did that. So I have an Indian student in Australia, and he understand, watch the Buddha's story. Of course, he liked Buddhism. He studied long time. He's Hindu, but he prefers Buddhism. He let many his Indian friends watch Buddha's story. They only understand, Buddha left home, everybody's so sad. Sorry for them. They only understand that. They cannot go further. Why Buddha left? They cannot. They cannot get in. They only understand, that's so sad. He left home. His parents so sad, his father is so sad, he's so stubborn, he wants to be universal king, Buddha. And the mother said, of course, the wife, of course, everybody is so sad. That they understand perfectly. And furthermore, they can't. So usually we say, we don't like brainwash. But we already brainwashed. So if we know what is necessary to do, what is not necessary, then we are not busy. We have a lot of time. So Bamdagilak Gyatso, one of the Jonang master, he wrote 20 or 30 books. They all thick like this. And then he has billion mantras, different mantras, 13 billion mantras he recited, and he teach every day, all day, every day, whole life. So some people say, oh my gosh, how can you finish this? He said, if there is no distraction, there's a lot of time. So we are busy for so many unnecessary things. So we don't take Dharma is the first priority. We always take one of the 10th or 15th or 20th priority. Then we think, oh, we don't have realization, we don't have transformation. Why? Maybe I should give up. You know. So anything you prioritize, you have the result. Think about usually, reading, so easy. So easy for everybody thinks it's just reading, okay. But easy, why? How is it easier from beginning? Before you don't know even what is the A, what is the B, how is it hard for them? Millions of writings in front means nothing. But you come from there. You all come from there. But now it's so easy for you because you have a long habit. Every day you read in science, at least. I don't read science because I come from mountains, no science. So no habit. So even there's a lot of science, I have no habit to look at. And people beside me always assuming I know. Of course they assume, but actually I not seeing them. I see there's some writing, but I no habit to read. But you guys so easy, brother. So yeah. Also, I realized that English is much quicker if you really have the habit, because all words separated, That's why you have so familiar and become so quick, Tibetans all together join together, so that's why it's a little bit slow, I think. So anyway, why we so busy? Because we make ourselves so busy. You all give the answers, all right, like say, one is we bored. If we not keep our busy, we bored. Yes, that's also very good answer. But the more important, why we bored, that's even more important. Why we bored? So that's, when I talk in happiness, sometimes I talk the Happier Life book, happiness. Something is related with this, There's a few types of happiness, One is happiness relying mostly 5 senses. And there is little bit deeper level, not very deep, but a little bit deeper level than 5 senses enjoyment is ego competition. Ego competition. So ego competition. Why our ego compete everybody? Because we get some kind of happiness from that. Is not sustaining happiness. Is not right way to pursue happiness, but we get some happiness if you compete in very well. But there's no really very well, but temporary happiness. So remember, the researchers say somebody win the lottery, happy a few weeks. Big lottery winner have only happiness a few weeks. Why? Only a few weeks. We imagine happy the rest of life, right? We definitely imagine, the happy rest of life. So that's why ego competing is not forever, definitely. But it's a little bit deeper than, always pursuing 5 sensory pleasures. Because 5 sensory pleasures, you completely rely on the outside object. But the ego, you always inside you have. You compete many ways. So that's why very strong, determined, ego people work harder. Five sensory pleasure, you can't do anything, you just watch television, But all of them, you're not looking at deeper. If you can look a little bit deeper, and then you go beyond ego. You go beyond ego. So we talking about emptiness and Ranton, Janton, self-empty, Buddha nature. We try something go beyond ego. But we cannot immediately something not related with ego. Of course, ego always there. So when you go through the river, you try to go beyond river, behind river, beyond river. But still, you have to go through the river. So similarly, when we try to go beyond ego, still we have to go through the ego. So that's why our ego say, I have to understand this, Majjhimika, It still is the ego, but you go through the ego. So it's quite simple, quite simple. Why incredible practitioners, they don't need many things. We need so many things. Simple answer, we rely on our happiness, enjoy everything, the bored, no bored, everything, we rely on something. And the great practitioner not rely on that. It's not great practitioner means you live there with sadness and depression. You can enjoy with nothing, with yourself, basically. So, and that's why in Buddhism sometimes say, Machak Mapirik. Vibhashika school, not, some of the, if you look carefully, some schools, they didn't really believe Buddha nature. Even Buddhist, okay? They think not everybody, not all sentient beings have a Buddha nature. Only have Machak Papirik, who has less desire for them. They think like that. But what shows means, let desire also, we could misunderstood sometimes, like, you inspired by nothing. Don't think that way. You have no enthusiasm for anything, it's not think that way. In that level, you have something is better. You have a little bit ego, a little bit enthusiasm, Otherwise, you're going to depress or something, you know. But if you've gone too far, then also no meaning. You know. So that's why when we talking about renunciation, we not you know, usually people are misunderstanding giving up life. It's not you given up because you discouraged. It's not that. It's not something you cannot have any belongings. You know, you cannot have any wealth, you cannot have any, that's also not either. But what does means, you know this wealth and this all human, usually human have desire, incredible, human think it's incredible meaningful things is not meaningful anymore for you. That is renunciation. But when we say not meaningful anymore for you, means it doesn't mean you have to throw away 100% now. You can still have some degree of meaning, that's the problem. You know? But you know this is not the ultimate meaning for you. That means you have something else more important. It doesn't mean you have zero interest in wealth, zero interest in relationship. Doesn't mean you have to zero. Some good purpose. But you have, maybe you still want a relationship, you still want wealth, you still want some reputation, all of them, but for the purpose of something better. Not for reputation, not for wealth itself, but you want something more purposeful. Maybe that's why, but also you are not obsessed with this. So when we are obsessed, means you didn't have many options. You didn't see big vision. That's why we are obsessed, particularly tense. But when you are not obsessed, that means you have maybe some degree of renunciation. You are okay. You are okay with wealth, no wealth. You are okay with relationship or no relationship. You know, you are okay with children, no children. Either way, it's okay. You are okay. You're not obsessed because you have better vision. You have multiple vision, basically. You don't see only one thing. You don't see only one possibility. You see many possibilities. You don't see only one angle. You see many angles. So what I'm trying to tell you is, we have to connect with the philosophy with practice. When we establish in the view, we have to connect with the path, the practices, the conduct. So otherwise, becomes our life, usual life. Everybody busy, working hard, and then finally didn't know what to do. You don't see the meaning. So one of the Jonang-Shambhala Lama Jamphel, then Bamdagilak Jamphel was a student. Whole life also he teach. He stay in the forest. And he wrote many books, mantra, everything. He did so many things. When he died, he has only some empty bags, that's it. A little bit zamba. Nothing else. Because he didn't need it. For him is a destruction to accumulate in things. So think about how much we have at the house. How many spoons you have, how many forks you have, how many bowls you have, how many cooking stuff you have. How many? How many you have in the garage? Sometimes I see people's garage and people see many objects in the see the house. I just feel, oh gosh. It's not one person, 2%. Everybody, almost everybody has so much here. In Australia, many years, I only buy second-hand clothes. I try to reduce everything, but it's still, years later I look at too much clothes. Even second-hand is so much. Then I don't understand myself even, why I bought them that many? Do I wearing them? Most of them not wearing. So this is a manifestation of our greedy. Manifestation of our greedy. So this greedy, if we use something else, this manifestation we put time, energy, action, motivation, everything we did. If you think about it, if we put for something else, how is nice? Let's say, if we did all of them, we didn't have nothing, only one bowl and one spoon. One person have only one bowl and one spoon, nothing else. Only one bowl, maybe only one bowl, no even spoon. So you can use some stick or something, or you just use your finger. Then everything else went some kind of benefit, like charity, whatever. Oh, it's wonderful. Those who use this so many objects whole life, and who use only one bowl, what this many one achieved? Nothing. And you less achieved because you waste all of them this object. Because they didn't grow from the ground. You made money, you buy them, you work in the shop. So much time waste, so much. Think about it. It's very hard to know, isn't it? Which one is important, which one is not important. That's why I call wisdom. Wisdom always means, wisdom. Wisdom means you know which is important, what is not important. Okay, anyway. Ooh. Oh! Okay. 11:30. Or 1 o'clock we have to finish, isn't it? Yeah.
Do you want to take a bathroom?
Huh?
Do you want to take a tiny few-minute break?
Yes. So yes, we have toilet break and then we discuss this Heart Sutra. Okay? This is preliminary.